The world before the flood was the world of Atlantis. It was a utopian time with a highly evolved civilization. The world looked different with a different climate. Animals that are now relegated to mythology roamed this world, and very special plants grew. The earth was literally in bloom at that time, reflected in an abundance of lush flora and fauna. This world is an intelligent creation, consciously crafted by a higher intelligence, by a god. By WRALDA. WRALDA is perhaps the oldest name for God that we can find in the written chronicles of modern history, given by the ancient Frisians, the Aryans from the northern regions. They are direct descendants of the Atlanteans who settled in what remained of their Atlantis, Doggerland, in the Netherlands, after the flood around 2200 BCE. The ancient Frisians or Friars people are one of the three primeval peoples on Earth who literally sprung from the Earth. They are born from the Earth, indigenous, and born free. The three primordial mothers of the human race are Lida, Finda, and Freya. The Aryans, in the beginning, for a very long time, millennia, kept their lineage very pure and did not mix with other peoples, though this practice was eventually abandoned over time. The ancient Frisians, like their ancestors, were giants between 2 and 4 meters tall. They are responsible for all advanced and oversized architecture worldwide. This is because the Frisians were the first and for a long time the only ones capable of navigating the world seas. They formed a policy among themselves that constantly brought in new sailors, soldiers, and explorers, aiming to populate and colonize the world through so-called volksplantingen or folk settlements. The ancient Frisians had a matriarchal system, where women held the reins. Among the women, Burgtmaiden, castle maidens, were chosen who would ultimately serve as the oracles of ancient times, enjoying high standards and positions worldwide. At the very top is the honor mother, or the mother of the people. Both the maidens and the mother possess a so-called lamp, a special piece of magnetic monopole stone from the centrally located North Pole region. In this area lies the Black Rock Sailing Stone, a gigantic black mountain and the source of the firmament, also the source of consciousness. This is also the reason why the maidens carry a stone from it. Through this, they are connected to the collectively shared higher consciousness of humanity, or WRALDA. This is not a matter of belief or conviction but a very practical and widely respected practice. These special oracles were the primary advisors in the ancient world. From kings to ordinary people on the street, individuals from all corners of the world came to seek their advice. Not only that, but the Frisian legislation, Friars' texts, was applicable worldwide. The Frisians traveled the world, and all countries eventually fell under their peaceful and prosperous rule, starting in Western Europe, extending to Mesopotamia, India, America, Africa, and wherever they went, they built their boroughs and cathedrals. They founded ancient Greece and their descendants later founded Rome. Thus, these Frisians have left their mark firmly on history throughout the millennia. A history that has almost been completely lost to time, but especially due to the active efforts of another civilization, our current civilization. Soon, it becomes clear that after the flood, the leading roles no longer belong exclusively to the Frisians. Humanity has now mixed and grown incredibly. History has been rewritten by the false priests of these peoples who keep their subjects in a fearful grip within their borders. Since then, society has been ruled by money and violence, by power and deception. Freedom has been taken away from people, and every memory of it is eradicated. Numerous wars follow, and bit by bit, the Frisian hegemony is broken and taken over. Alchemists have managed to extract knowledge from the ancient Frisians, discovering the keys to eventually artificially produce free humans, but through a quite remarkable process in a device called the Aetna. Through these enchantments and incantations in practices, humanity is now completely imprisoned at a spiritual level. What this exactly means and embodies will become clear in this documentary. Architecture takes on a different purpose and origin story, and Christianity is created as a new all-encompassing legislation, becoming the only accepted narrative of humanity. There is no mention of the Frisians or their legacy, they are degraded to the giants in Genesis and further as the fallen angels. Old men of renown who brought knowledge and civilization to humanity become demons in humanity's holy scripture, wrapped in fear and punishment. Books delving deeper into these matters are kept out of the Bible. The highly important knowledge has since been hidden by secret knight and priestly orders and societies, forming the elite network that can continue to control the world in the background, and the rest of their history is burned, rewritten, or forgotten. This film narrates this lost history, based on the Oera Linda Book, which may rightfully be the most valuable book for the history of humanity, making it of immeasurable value. Additionally, it is extensively supplemented with results from the intense study that followed and could provide a very special and clearer context, bringing 3,000 years of Dutch and world history into focus. Dutch or Frisian, alongside Hebrew, is one of the oldest languages in the world. The reason we see this globally as well. The Dutch of today is the tallest people in the world, the genetic inheritance of our once much larger ancestors. With the VOC, the Netherlands not only dominated global trade in the Golden Age but could do so by building on the material legacy stolen from the Frisians, and we know how the VOC ended. The ancient Frisians were close to their hearts, listening to and inspired by their creator, WRALDA, or the All-Father. The consciousness of the source element that shapes this world, the monopole in the north. WRALDA ensures that the lamps of the Frisian Burgtmaidens keep burning. And it has been a long time since such a lamp has burned. This ancient original Frisian culture has been eradicated over the centuries, and its legacy corrupted. Back then, similar to the Book of Revelations, various predictions were made regarding the course of the world, its peoples, and the future, spanning thousands of years. The end of that mentioned cycle is our current time, in which it was predicted that this lost civilization would come back into the consciousness of the people and drive them to resurface this history. This will happen in a time marked by deception and oppression of the peoples, and will arise from the same consciousness that has been responsible for the entire creation for many millennia. The higher consciousness or God will awaken within humanity. And this process is currently underway. This is a process of many groundbreaking revelations that will destroy the indoctrination learned by everyone. Humanity has been misled for so long and is herded like cattle in all directions. The Frisians held truth in high regard, and it is the truth that will triumph in this struggle. It is the truth that will reveal history as it unfolded. It will tell the story of how it fared for them and how it will end for us. To tell this story comprehensively and coherently, we will divide it into several categories. The first category will be the laws and customs of the ancient Frisians, based on natural law. These were reached in common agreement and are good for everyone. It ensures your freedom and free will. And it will protect you from conflicts. Additionally, a category about how the Frisian culture existed at that time and how things went. A very special history in our own country. Speaking of times long before our official written history allows. The third category will be devoted to the many foreign colonies they founded and the distant journeys the Frisians made. In the fourth category, we will read about the enemies throughout the ages who have hunted down and tried to eradicate the Frisians into oblivion. In this category, we find chapters that speak about how all deception has taken shape and who the main actors have been. And in the fifth category, we will find all the information primarily related to our current generation and what we should do with all this information. A very special retelling and detailed report of an alternative history that we have been able to compile based on the Oera Linda Book and the Frisian legacy. A very captivating narrative that, hopefully, has also been spectacularly brought to the screen. I will try to take you on a journey into the extraordinary history that our country and the world are rich in. And that has shamefully been taken from us by our so-called well-intentioned governments. Everything is a scam, dear people, as you know, by World. We know the tricks of the trade and have managed to pick out the gems from history that will give us a much more complete picture. The series of discoveries so far has been fascinating. I am particularly curious about what lies ahead for us. One thing is certain, it is eagerly awaited by our ruling elite, who would have preferred that this book remained buried after the Second World War. It has been kept off the shelves since then, and there is much online discussion speaking ill of it. The chatbots keep shouting that it is a forgery and fantasy. It is so transparent and easy to debunk. Or according to the experts who have collectively scrutinized it. Well, that is, of course, the handful of experts who have ultimately been approved by the still reigning priestly order. Because science is religion. History is written by the winners. The only difference from the past is that the real battle is only now beginning and will be decisive. The future is open and belongs to us. It belongs to the truth. It belongs to WRALDA. World, 2024. Proudly presents in the coming time with great effort, WRALDA, based on the Oera Linda Book.